This week on Wildlife.
Hey, by the way, if you eat my balls, eat these.
Welcome to the Wildlife Recap. My name isn't Pixel Riffs, our writer isn't Sloy XP, captions on this video were not provided by Liara. And as you can see, we're doing this in a different style the last time. In fact, it's going to be a theme. I plan on doing a different editing style each week with these. Last week was my own little style. This week we're parodying the Hermcraft Recap. Who knows what comes next? Enough about me though, let's talk about all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Wildlife server this week. Now first, I should explain the wild card this time around. You see, everyone was inflicted with Hunger 3, meaning everyone had to eat more food. But oh no, if you eat food, instead of gaining energy, you just get hungrier in the form of Hunger 8. In order to actually gain energy, you have to eat literally anything else. Every block and item in the game, apart from food, is now edible, and they all give some sort of effect. Some give literal potion effects.
Eat.
Go.
I'm not hungry.
Oh, it's working for me. Mumbo's dead!
Some play sound effects.
Wait, does grass do the same?
And a select few replenish hunger. Additionally, periodically throughout the session, the food was randomized, so you had to find new sustenance every so often.
Everything we learned is now gone.
It was an excellent game of cat, mouse, and famine as players try to find what rocks and tools were edible and which ones were poisonous. The first perspective I watched and subsequently will talk about is from Jem and Joel. They had a deceivingly relaxed session with no deaths whatsoever. They built their base and had relatively zero struggle when it came to food. Jem just happened to find good food and Joel just ate various types of deep slate the whole time. The base, or rather bases that were built, consisted of a lovely little barn for the cows by Jem and the car.
That is, I don't want to say anything too mean about it, but maybe one of the,
Just say it, Mumbo. Let it out. Let it out, buddy.
Maybe one of the worst things I've ever seen in my entire life.
This team is seemingly allied or at least friendly with everyone, except Impulse, as he continued to blame Jem and Joel for stealing his cows until they were proven innocent. Speaking of Impulse, his team has surprisingly become one of the most chaotic ones. In the beginning, this group struggled to find the wild card to the point of them almost dying. That is, until Scott decided to start munching on random things and they figured out what the gimmick was. This team was semi-aligned with Big B, with a weird tongue-looking bridge coming to connect them. They've also encountered 2 deaths this session, one from a sword-hungry Pearl.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. And I ate my sword as I died.
And another from a skeleton on Cleo. The team decided to start their base building efforts by constructing a wall around the shore. Back to Impulse the Chaotic, he has assembled a creeper farm to begin TNT production. He intends to use this to get back at Green and Martin for stealing the cows last session. He's enlisted Pearl to join him for this path of destruction, but the others in this team are none the wiser. I'm excited to see what kind of drama this creates within their team. I mentioned Big B has semi-joined this team, but unless it's said outright, I plan on grouping him as his own team. Now I need to talk more about Big B. Big B spent most of his session with Cleo, where they figured out the mechanic and hunted for answers to their famine problem.
Imagine if it got worse throughout the session.
Oh no.
Everything we learned is now gone.
There isn't much else to say about Big B that wasn't said in the previous team's paragraph, so I'll move on. Next up, we have the Sub 1 Club. The Spanners. This is Green, Mumbo, and Skiz's new team name, bridging the gap between unintelligence and, well, bridges. Yeah, so this team has dedicated themselves to the craft of overpasses. Green is looking great, sporting a full diamond getup in all 6 of his lives. I can't say the same about the other 2. Skiz got liquidated, or I guess in this case, anything but. Yeah, Skiz has died 3 times. Twice from starvation, and 1 from fall damage. Although that wasn't his fault. As I was getting to a second ago, he was murdered by Tango. This isn't all, because Mumbo also died twice. Once from starvation, right as he was trying to figure out what worked at the start, and another from fall damage, from floating too close to the sun. I mentioned Tango's reverse trampolining just now, but did Skiz ever get payback? Well, yes, indirectly. Tango lost a life due to a creeper explosion as he was gathering quickly expiring spruce leaves for his team. Although it's hard to call this a team, their structure is very open concept, shall we say. They're together, but the rule is that they're allowed to do something in their own interest over prioritizing their team. Additionally, Nice Old, B-Dub, Zetho, and Tango have decided to leave that moniker behind them. After all, nice guys finish last, right? Instead, they're the tough guys and have dedicated themselves to the craft of being tough, mean, and downright despicable villains this season. But so far, all they've done is do a lot of nerdy math, a little petty theft from Scott and the gang, and well, I guess they killed a person, so you know what? Good on them. Before we move on to Scar, Jimmy, and Lizzie, I want to say that these videos take a lot of effort to make each week, and so if you're enjoying my recaps of the live series, why not go down there, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and then you can guarantee you know what's happening each week before the next session. Enough being a dirty, shameless YouTuber, let's discuss Jimmy, Scar, and Lizzie, as I mentioned a second ago. This team lives on the mountain where they intend on constructing a great and not at all deadly theme park. The group figured out the wild card almost instantly, mostly thanks to Lizzie. Speaking of Lizzie, she spent most of her episode having a relaxed building session. Quite the contrast from other perspectives. She made parrot statues as decoration for the theme park. Each one is based on a member of the team. Scar had a similar vibe this session. He mostly worked on his bamboo roller coaster. Jimmy helped Scar doing trade deals to get his powered rails. He also went down in the mines and got himself geared up. He also died. Anyway, let's finish strong with Ren and Martin. These two non-role players.
Which one comes out on top?
Dungeons and Dragons boys doing? You role playing? You're going taking the ring to Mordor or something?
Why? Wait, hold on. What's with this nerd labeling? Where's this come
Oh,
from?
the two of you. When the two of you get together, you go off on some sort of middle-aged.
For the king and such and so forth. Yeah,
So
all
what
that,
is it this time?
We have
so far,
a
we've
mound.
just been ourselves. We've just been normal. The role playing hasn't kicked in yet.
Built up their tower base and got geared up. They went mining for lots of iron in the insanely rare iron vein that I just refused to bring up last week. They also sustained a death each. One from Ren right at the start when figuring out what to eat, and one from Martin with a 1-2 combo of food randomization, poison, and starvation. In total, we had 11 deaths this week, a lot of chaos, and a lot of fun, as usual. If you enjoyed this, again, I mentioned it a second ago, but please subscribe. I'm gonna beg on my knees. I'm trying to grow the channel and I'd appreciate it. Thank you, and goodbye.